After the yagya first moved to the small buildings which later was named Pandabhavan, this ground where Tower of Peace now standing was a jungle full of thorns, bushes, trees and grass here and there. When all the inhabitants got settled, kitchen got settled, accommodation places were clean, then Baba directed children to clean this ground and level it so that it could be used for different things, because it was quite a big area, open area, and there was need to put grain under the sunlight. And gradually it turned from time to time into sports ground for Baba and children, where he would play badminton with them. When Brahma Baba became avaked on 18th January, at the time Manmohini Didi was not there in Mount Abu, she was on service tour. Dadi Prakash Maniji was there. So it was decided that body is to be kept in Pandabhavan till she arrives and all other teachers and students also arrive. So this was the time when Brother Ramesh had visited Governor of Sirohi district to seek permission for doing cremation ceremony in the Pandabhavan. So as a mark of respect to Brahma Kumaris, permission was granted by the district magistrate. Ashes were put in the silver urn, which was put under the ground. It's exactly the place where Tower of Peace now stands. And gradually time was passing, more and more Baba's children were coming and they were looking for Baba, asking, and they wanted to meet Baba, hug Baba. So seeing all those scenes, Brother Jagdish had a thought to have lasting memorial to Brahma Baba at the place where cremation had been, and a memorial which could continue to educate people about Brahma Baba's life, his faith, his dedication, his renunciation and his service to mankind. And then was the question of creating a special design which should match Baba's personality, simple but royal, dignified. And for this task, Brother Jagdish, Brother Anand Kishore, Brother Chandrahas, Nivay Bhai, they sat down and designed it, and then it was finalized. White marble, which was easily available at that time in Mount Abu, and whole Dilwara temple also was made of white marble. So it was decided white marble would be used as a stone to make this a memorial, but the marble without any kind of shade or black lines over it. And then local marble company run by very well respected Trivedi family was contacted, and they took responsibility for this project. Most significant part of this designing was to depict tower as the life of Brahma Baba, because his life was the embodiment of the versions of God for a yogi, that yogi is the one who stays unshakable, immovable. And for him, he was standing tall, straight, amidst all difficulties. So this tower was selected as a symbol to be very special in this memorial. After the design was finalized, the marble pieces had to be cut to size at the marble factory and especially inscribed with the wording that had been written by few brothers, especially Brother Jagdish. And then this whole transcription was shown to Avik Babdada for his approval. And these words were not just simple words, but as if they were the landmarks, seeing which even today each and every one of us keeps getting inspiration. So ultimately, Chandra's Dada took full charge of assembling the marble blocks on site, finishing off the marble tower with just a simple cutout of Shiv Baba at the top. And light at the top was added later on the advice of a brother who came from Delhi. And then a year later, idea came to create a canopy over the tower to keep it free from dust and protect it from the rain. During this period, it was from 71 to 73, Dadiji and Didi Manmohini started meeting with everyone who used to come and sitting by the side of this memorial, giving toli, drishti. So as if it became the main focal point for connecting ourselves with the memories. And till today, on the day of remembrance, on 18th January, everywhere in the world, Baba's children sit and immerse this scene and take power from that.
Really a very deep feeling of coming to the final stage of perfection, the Avyakt stage. And so you get so much inspiration just sitting by the Tower of Peace.
Mostly people just go very naturally into that state of wanting to enjoy a piece which is not like morbid, it's a monument, this Tower of Peace, but it's not like that. The piece you have there is like a living piece.
The Tower of Peace, every time I go there, it's as if I know that place very well. A familiarity, that it's something that I can relate to. It's as if it's a feeling of coming home for me, a feeling of being at ease as well. It's a nice feeling for me. It's a feeling of really contentment that I have every time I go there. At last I'm there after a long journey of getting to Madhuban and then going into Tower of Peace, as if I can relax now.
I felt first time when I saw the Tower of Peace, without reading anything on the 4 pillars, but I felt like Baba was standing there with his arms open, welcoming all of us. You know, there was not the feeling of absence of Baba at all. And I think that is because that is the land on which Brahma Baba has walked for so many years. And that is the land on which Mama Baba have played games. So the vibrations are very much there.
Of course, that little place where the cremation had taken place, where we used to play badminton with Baba or go for a stroll with Baba. When I first went back to Madhuban, of course it was those memories that came flooding back, because I'd been there at the cremation ceremony and it had been very quiet, very still, very sacred, very powerful, but very emotional, of course.
Tower of Peace is the essence which inspires us of Brahma Baba's complete life. Brahma Baba surrendered everything, all his property, prosperity, and became trustee. And what this place became, a pilgrimage place, the highest pilgrimage place of all.
I remember when I stepped into that area where this compound, all these barriers was not put, it was just open in the beginning. All this flooring and everything they made later on.
When I first saw the tower, I thought this is absolutely the right memorial for Baba, because Baba never wanted his face, never wanted his photograph, never wanted to be filmed, and so to have a statue, which would have been the normal thing to do, just didn't fit within any of that. And of course, Baba's last Murlis in last year had been about the Tower of Peace, Madhuban, Abu, the greatest pilgrimage place. And so when I saw the tower, I thought this is the right memorial for our beloved Baba.
We had a lovely experience in Madhuban a few years ago where some people who've been in Gyan quite a long time gathered, and we went to all the pilgrimage places, and that was an extremely powerful experience. I remember we went into Baba's room, we went to the history hall, we went to the Tower of Peace, and my experience then of sitting at the Tower of Peace was really one of understanding why it's a pilgrimage place, really feeling that his vibration is there, that the way he created and sustained the yajna was somehow deeply embedded in the energy of that place.
Each step I took, it felt like I was walking into another layer of deep silence. I mean, obviously there were still people talking around me, but it was a kind of enveloping inner silence. And this increased in intensity each step I took towards the Tower of Peace. And then I realised now this is really a special place, and normally I'm reluctant to think that. I like to think there is no special place, it's wherever you make it. But that really, I think was sort of a very memorable moment for me, because I realised that this place really does have some power.
The energy there is unique, it's very still, it's very powerful, it's very refreshing. It uplifts you, inspires you, and just makes you feel complete and that anything is possible.
It feels to me like the Tower of Peace is one of the pilgrimage places of Madhuban, and there's like a cone of silence around it. So it's almost like you're walking into solid silence when you're around the Tower of Peace, because everyone who goes there is really in deep meditation, in deep contemplation. And so it's quite an extraordinary energetic place where you can feel that combined energy of people who have just been thinking about God and Brahma Baba and what he did in this physical space. But that energy has had an effect and left its imprint there. So you're really walking into what I call the cone of silence.
Baba's beyond all of that, and I have to be as subtle as Baba is to be able to have some access to that. And there are some places on our planet in which this is easier to experience, to go into that subtle state and to commune with Baba one-to-one. Of course, we can do that anywhere, technically. But there are some places which are like portals through which we can travel easily. Madhuban as a whole is like that, but especially in Madhuban, the Tower of Peace. And I just love to sit there after Amrit Vela and go beyond all of the things of this physical world. It's probably been one of the places where I've had my best touchings in my whole life about what I can achieve and what's possible. What are the things that Baba sees in me, and how can I put them into practice? So the Tower of Peace is a fantastic portal for us to get access to all of these subtle riches.
Tower of Peace for me has lots of fond memories. This is the first place I would say I experience lightness, a place that has brought, as you can see around, complete stillness, complete harmonious relationships.
And there was one time when I really had a lot of troubles, and so I was in Madhaban and I was sitting around the Tower of Peace. I was there morning, noon and night, practically for the whole of my stay there, just going to the Tower of Peace. And it was towards the end of my stay, a word came to me, and that was the Murli. It's almost like all I needed to really resolve any issues I had was the Murli, and to use the Murli. So from there I was able to actually really focus back on the Murli, which I found was absolutely wonderful.
We used to have World Peace Hour. Many times in the time of summer season, we will have World Peace Hour in the Tower of Peace. That was really very powerful experience. We used to have thousands, because during summer, there used to be lots of BK, Baba's children coming, and even sometimes during foreigner season in April. And I used to have wonderful experience, like it's a subtle region.
I love being in Madhuban for the 18th of January, and especially the day before when all the preparations are being made. I used to love working with the family from Calcutta that used to come with the trucks full of flowers, and often I would go there and help them to do the flower decorations, as I love the flowers so much.
I always used to have silence in 18 January meetings from the time I leave my Singapore for my journey until I come back. Most of the times we experience silence. And especially during Baba's 18th January day, there are plenty of flowers, as we always see. So what I normally do is, the earlier day itself, I will finish my day early, so that the next day for 18th January, when it is 2 in the morning, I can feel fresh. But throughout the night, from at least 11 o'clock, they will start the flower arranging. So I am there always from 11 o'clock previous night until next day 8 in the morning, and it is simply fantastic. You can just feel connected with Baba and nothing except Baba.
I guess another very powerful experience of being around the Tower of Peace is on the 18th of January, and I have been there for that occasion a couple of times, and just seeing everyone gathering, and you can feel their memory of that time, and just how significant it was for them to have to cremate Brahma Baba.
First thing is, we go there and stand in silence in front of Tower of Peace, and we read those wordings to remind ourselves that we have not forgotten that what Baba has said in his messages. And then we go around, read all the messages, all the 4 sides.
During the day it's very sunny, and so you can enjoy the sun sitting on the marble floor. During the evening it's lovely to be sitting just beside the inscriptions and taking inspirations from those inscriptions. This is what Brahma Baba was and how he became that. The inscriptions tell us how he actually became the perfect angel that he was.
You see, from the inscription on different sides, it's very beautifully done, I tell you, very beautifully, because on one side it conveys the principles of Brahma Baba's own life, that is upper portion. Then what are the teachings, or what are the spiritual concepts which can enable a person to reach that stage? So that is inscribed in the second line.
Another beautiful memory that I have of the Tower of Peace is usually they actually paint the inscriptions black again, because over many years the black color fades out, and so they get people to come in and do their writings, and it's such a therapeutic experience just writing the inscriptions in black, painting them in black. And so the connection with Baba being there, and it's as though that is being imprinted on your heart. So painting the inscriptions in black, and it's as though you're actually taking those inscriptions into yourself, because there has to be so much concentration when you're doing that. So it was really such a beautiful experience, and usually they do this in the month of January, just a week or so before 18th January.
It is very important message for the whole world. Dear children, God Shiva is father of all. Bharat is the greatest country among all nations. Why? Because Abu is the highest pilgrim place among all the pilgrim places. Explain this in depth to everyone.
Another thing that I enjoy most is my Amrit Velas at the Tower of Peace.
Obviously, I like to go at Amrit Vela times, so I will go to the History Hall, Baba's room, then I will go to the Tower of Peace. And I also like to sit outside as well, just where you can see the mountains as well. And that's very beautiful too, that whole feeling of another level, of Baba having ascended. It just feels very, very powerful. It doesn't matter how many people are there or not there, you feel that solitude and that connection with Baba as a parent.
And so when I'm sitting there having my cup of tea after Amrit Vela, there is a brother who comes and cleans the Tower of Peace very methodically, very diligently. He really pays attention.
My favourite moments in Pandav Bhavan are at Amrit Vela on a balmy morning, just sitting so quietly. I just feel so still inside, just to sit.
And then in the evening, I really love that 7 to 7:30 meditation as well. And that has its own unique atmosphere of, again, that silence and the evening light, the sunset, the stillness that comes around that time. That's also very special.
One more aspect that I love about the Tower of Peace is, especially at dusk, is an exquisite moment to sit there, because you just feel the abundance of the natural world. It's very, very silent, and yet there's always birds. If there's a slight breeze, you pick up the rustle of the trees. And you also feel the sense of the mountains about there, because it's a big courtyard. And so although it's sort of like this sort of vortex of spiritual energy and power, it's also, I always feel there's a great gift there of feeling the beauty and the silence of the natural world.
And so sitting in the Tower of Peace, especially around 6 o'clock at night, when the light is just changing from day to evening, the dusk, it's just a very soft atmosphere. And Brahma Baba was internally very soft, because the soul was so pure by the end. And so I began to feel this great energy of purity when I sit in the Tower of Peace.
So when double foreigners, brothers and sisters, would come to Madhuban, and before they left, they would come together at Tower of Peace, have a few minutes of silent meditation, and then there would be a Hindi song. The wording was Madhuban se le lo vida, safalta saath rahe. Take leave from Madhuban. Let success be always with you.
Now when I come to the Tower of Peace, I feel that very deep silence and the awareness that this really is about fulfilling what Baba's wishes are for us and what Brahma Baba's last words were for us. And the inscriptions especially are very, very powerful. And the way you feel Baba invoking the children, I feel very, very safe, very, very protected.
And so nowadays what we do in all the centers, some of the centers, we create Tower of Peace in our own centers and try to give that experience to brothers and sisters. So that, the vibrations of Madhuban we can catch easily.
Even in the midst of the biggest cities, I can remember Madhuban, and especially I can remember the Tower of Peace, the doorway through which I can become perfect.
And from there, in that place, you can send out your vibrations of peace along with the atmosphere of what's happening and serve the world from there.